Hey guys, it's Brick Picture Productions here with the first video of the 3 video episode series of Pimp My Set in response to Lego Buff Productions requests to pimp your own sets. And I've decided wanted to do a quick just a few videos on me pimping the set. And before we get into the details of what this episode is going to be about, I'd like to announce which set it's going to be that's going to get pimped. And it is in fact the UCS Tie Interceptor. Now this set is just, it needs work in a lot of aspects of the set. This is official Lego image of the set, and as you can see, it looks gray for some reason, but in fact it's blue. I don't know what happened with this image, but it's blue, and I believe the light bluish gray color was not available to Lego then. At that year, it was just a couple years off before it was produced, but it needs to be fixed. This blue color is just very, very bad. And you know, it wasn't just the blue color that made this set needed to be pimped. It's just everything about it. This set is only about 650 pieces, I believe, and that is quite small for a UCS set, especially one that's representing one at this scale. This one in today's pieces would probably be about 1,500 minimum, so it's quite surprising. The cockpit, it has very minimal pieces compared to the TIE Fighter, and then of course these dimensional plates for the wings need to be fixed as well. There are quite a lot of things I want to fix here, and as you noticed when the episode first began, there are parts right in front of me here. And these parts are actually for the TIE Fighter. Now, I know I already have one of these, but I've bought a second one to get the parts to build me a UCS TIE Fighter, a TIE Interceptor. Now, I'm going to be starting completely from scratch on this. There is no way I could really do much work on the original one. It needs to be completely overhauled, in my opinion. And so we're going to talk what this episode is going to be about. So this episode is going to be building the UCS TIE Fighter cockpit. Now I want to keep this cockpit design as close to what the Lego one was as possible. I may have to modify the brackets slightly for my new bracket design, but I do want to keep the cockpit for the most part stock because it has to be the Imperial Navy continuity, and it looks great as it is. I really wouldn't want to fix that. It just looks amazing. And then not only am I doing the cockpit, I want to do the middle section that will connect both wings and connect to the cockpit. So that's what this episode is going to be about. These pieces in front of me are from the TIE Fighter. Now my budget for this is about $200, and I could tell you that right now that I have actually stuck for the most part to that, which is actually very good for a UCS set. Most UCS sets of this scale are about $200. So to do a set like this for just that price, and it's a mock, that's a good deal. So without further ado, I kind of want to just start a time lapse of me building the cockpit. Alright, so I built the actual cockpit. Now I'm going to try to keep this as stock as possible. I will probably have to modify the ends like I've done a little bit over here to get the wings seamlessly connected. But other than that, I definitely want to keep the aspects of this. They did a great job, Lego of course. And so now in this episode, we're going to actually kind of build the middle mount that goes on here and try to connect it for you guys. So let's do that now. So now that I've finished the cockpit, I started working on the bracket design, and here is what I've actually come up with. I've used this piece right here from the TIE Fighter, and these corner pieces did not come in the TIE Fighter in this color at least, so I had these lying around, and then I put a piece right here across. And what I've done is I've kept the actual brackets in their same spot, except I've just connected them to a 2x6 here, which is then in turn connected here. And not only that, I've put these pieces that came in the TIE Fighter across here, and this design actually makes it very sturdy in the downward direction, which is what I want it to be, very sturdy. Now I will say it isn't very sturdy when you put weight on it when you pull down. It does tend to come off, unfortunately, but I've decided that I'm just going to leave it as it is. It is very, very strong in the sideways direction, and that's how it's going to be displayed. So I've decided I'm just going to keep it how it is. It's going to be displayed. It's not going to be moved very much, so there's no point to put any more time or of course money for the parts into that. And then what I've also come up with is the middle section design. Now this is actually pretty cool. Now instead of just using the TIE Fighter middle design like this, if I were to use that design, I'd have to widen and elongate this middle section, and I did not want to do that because then I'd have to widen and elongate the wings, which would to keep it in proportion, and that would require a lot more parts and a lot more time. So I just decided to, of course, make my own middle section and then my own bracket, of course, which in my opinion was a lot easier, and it looks better to me in this scale. I wouldn't really like a huge long one or wide one. It doesn't look good to me, at least. So what I've done is I've used all of these pieces right here came from the actual TIE Fighter, including these ones, these, of course, these tiles as well. Some of these came with the TIE Fighter, and some of them I actually had lying around and I had to use them. I tried to keep like the basic design of this one. We have the tiles here, and this radar dish is of course representing this. And then we have these pieces right here, which are represented in a new form that I've built. And of course, I've put these black tiles in place of that. And then on the front here, we have this bracket piece. I'm going to put some dark gray cones on. I have to just hunt those down to do. That'll be on their next episode, of course. And then, of course, the main feature of this set was the hinges. Now, none of these hinges right here actually came in the TIE Fighter, and these are actually, to buy in the quantity that I had to do, they kind of get a little pricey. So I used a lot from just my own sets instead of buying some. So I chose this hinge design because once it's all said and done and put together, there will be no gaps, which are prevalent in the real one. See those gaps right there because they use those types of hinges, and I want to eliminate that gap using these hinges because it looks a lot better with no gap, in my opinion. So now what I want to do here is actually attach this middle section here to the bracket, which is very easy. It just goes on with the studs. There's no special technique or anything. It just goes right on. And if you're wondering how strong it is when just putting on with the studs, it's actually very strong. See, I'm pulling here, and it's very strong on the side, of course. So with that is what I've gotten done this episode. Of course, I'm going to build it on the second side just in a mirrored image. I have to get a few more parts, especially those hinges. I don't have any more. I have to buy some more on Bricklink, but that I'm gonna mirror this image, and you'll see that next episode. And then also next episode, we're actually gonna be doing all 4 wings. So right now it kind of resembles a little bit of Vader's TIE Advance, just at the side view. It's just, I mean, not really, but somewhat. But that's really what I've gotten done so far. I know it wasn't a whole lot, but next episode's going to be big. We're going to be getting all those wings on. And then the third episode, we're going to be putting it all together. We're going to be designing my own stand. I'll probably modify the Lego one, but I will not keep it stock because it'll probably be front heavy. So with that, guys, be sure to subscribe because there's going to be 2 more episodes of this, and then there'll be a showcase of the mock itself. So with that, guys, peace out.